Welcome to a new video!
You're joining us on our own little private carp fishery. What a mega little place this is.
The mission is to catch at least one of the mega 35 bangers that reside in the specimen lake here.
Well, I'm absolutely buzzing to get started, so let's go get the kit out of the van and try and catch a carp.
We've made it up to the lakes den after barring up here, and what an absolute cracking bit of water this is. It's a lovely fishery. Now Hugh couldn't wait to go and have a sneak around, so he's gone off for a look to see if he can find anything, and I'm going to start sorting out our kit. So the plan of attack is we're going to drop our kit in the middle of the lake. That way it's going to sort of keep all the noise in that central zone, with the idea that maybe the fish then might move left or right into the side bays, which we can then concentrate our rods on. That way those areas stay quiet, hopefully the fish remain confident and are more happy to feed, and we can obviously still have a little bit of a sort of social in the middle where we can obviously talk and obviously get footage done and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, Hugh's having a look around. Hopefully he's going to find us a few fish. We need to get everything set up, so let's crack on, get it done, and then we can actually get some rods out and try and catch one of these absolute bangers.
The houses are up then and we are all settled into the swim, and to be honest, for the last hour and a half or so, we've just been wandering around, really enjoying the location and trying to spot fish and decide where to fish from tonight, mate, haven't we?
We certainly have, yeah. We've not wanted to jump in straight away because it's a small lake. We think there's a chance we'd just spook them. You know, chucking leads left, right and centre is just going to put them off and ruin our chances. So we've been trying to watch sort of if they've got any sort of behaviours or habits that we can sort of maybe try and see if they've got any path they're following, put rigs in the right areas essentially. So yeah, we've just been watching as much as possible, trying to make sure we get the rods in the right place when we do finally put them out. But I think at the moment we're going to probably just continue looking around, come up with a game plan, and hopefully it comes good.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about you, mate, but I'm really glad I wore a black t-shirt.
Yeah, me.
And actually black joggers and...
Yeah, I mean, wearing full black, which to be fair, I wear quite a lot. It's definitely good at this time of year when the sun's out and it's warm.
Yeah, got to remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, black
roll on the white t-shirt.
I don't know about
white joggers next time.
I don't know about that.
That's next week's get up.
Yes! Better get some white Air Max to go, wouldn't it?
Oh, nothing wrong with Air Max. Right then, we'll just come round to the far side, so we're set up over to sort of your right as you're looking at the screen at the moment. And yeah, I'm going to fish a washing line method for my left-hand rod. So there's some lovely little clay spots down in front of me, and it's where Shaun's seen some fish fizzing this morning. So I'm just finding a nice little area with the lead, and it is like real sticky clay, so it should be lovely. You can see all the fish were here. The next plan of action is to just try and clear a bit of space in all this scum with the net. So we're obviously making a bit of disturbance here. There's nothing really we can do about that, to be honest. There we go. Right. A bit more there. So rig wise, I've got a very small sort of braided hook link. It's actually one I tied up for a solid bag. Let's get this rig in. Get my feet back where they were. And I'm just going to lower it in. God, it's really shallow. There we go. Right. I just want to get that line really sunk down, see? And then I've just got an elastic band here, so this section is going down to the rig. So now I'm just going to walk this rod back round to where the rod rests on the far side. Oh, there's one there. That's where the other one's going, funny enough.
Well, the brolly is a little bit of a mess. I've actually been prepping a few rigs and getting a few bags tied up. I'm going to be using mesh bags to start with, just see how we get on with that. Now, it's already sort of afternoon, crossover to the evening. We've only got about 2 or 3 hours left of light, really. We've kind of been walking around all day, come out with a game plan, watching the fish. I've been doing a bit of stalking as well. Now, the stalking's not worked out. Oh, there he is, I can see him. Oh, he spooked off of it. Oh, although I absolutely love this style of fishing, it can be really, really frustrating at times. So that was a nice fish. That looked like probably a decent 20 pounder, that. It was a good solid sized fish, and it was quite close to the surface, so I flicked the bread long and then drew it back very slightly to let it flutter down. But it literally spooked. It spooked straight away. As soon as that bread dropped in front of it, it basically sort of turned off to the right and floated off a bit. I've missed a couple of opportunities. The fish are very, very finicky and have spooked off it quite quickly, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I thought it's getting to that time where we need to get some rods in place, get them positioned, as we're getting close to that period of time where I think the fish might switch on and have a feed. So they've been quite active, but I don't think they've really been feeding that heavily. So hopefully, as the light levels drop, the fish will switch on and we might be able to get a bite. So I'm going to put a rod out in front of me, out towards the island. There's been a lot of movement going on out there, a lot of bubbling, a lot of fizzing. I think there's definitely fish visiting that area quite regularly. I'm then going to put another rod down towards the bottom end more, because there's been fish down there quite regularly up under the floating rafts of scum, just sort of loving life down there. With that sort of cover over their head, they obviously feel happy, they feel safe. So I think if I can clear a hole in the scum, lower a rod in, hopefully I'll be able to sort of slot one in down there and sort of sneak a fish out of that area as well. So anyway, let's get the rods out there, let's get fishing, because we can't catch anything just talking to cameras, can we? So let's get on with it and see if we can actually have one. This is the rig then. So I've got a soft braid rig with a 15mm cured S7 bottom bait, and there's a little stick there, and that is boilie crumb, some of the stick mix, and a few other bits and bobs in there. There's a few little bits of micro crayfish micro mix. So lots of goodies, lots of attraction. It's been soaking in amino smoke as well, so it's got a lot of attraction and flavour and signals coming out of that. And I just got my leg clip set up. Now, I have got a 4-ounce lead on there. It is a little bit heavy for a small water like this, but when it's positioned, I'm not planning on moving it. I'm planning on just leaving it in position. So I think having that heavier lead, I know I'm going to get a decent hook hold with it. So I'm quite happy using a bigger lead and causing a bit of disturbance just getting out there initially. The second rod is out there and it's taken a lot of graft getting it in place, but it is finally done and I've got 2 rods positioned. So this one is down towards the bottom corner where all the scum is collected and the fish have been rooting around in there in the daytime. So I'm hoping they're going to stay in there at night, but it is relatively shallow, so they might move out of the area. I'm not too sure, but I think they'll be back in the morning if they're not here in the night. So it took a lot of graft getting the rod out there. I've had to clear all the scum out of the way to give me a hole to lower the rig into, so I had to use the net, push all the scum out into the open water basically to sort of give me a gap, lower it in quickly, try and get the line down below the scum and then walk it back to the rod rest, kind of slacken it off. I've got like a semi-slack line on at the moment, which is just hanging limp off the rod top down to the rig, just in time basically before the scum kind of drifted in, and now the whole area is absolutely covered in the scum again, and yeah, it's just as well managed to get it in place. So I've put a little bit of ground bait mix out there. It's just highly attractive, loads of attraction, loads of liquids in there, so just lots and lots of scent and not a huge amount of food. So hopefully it'll bring the fish in, they'll grub around, they'll be constantly grubbing around because obviously it's a very fine mix, and then the only real bit of food in there is going to be my salt cured S7 hook bait. So yeah, let's hope it produces the goods. I'm feeling confident, but I'm going to head back, probably have a bit of food in a bit as well because I'm starting to get really hungry. Hopefully the fish are hungry too, and we get one. So yeah, it's been a lot of our work today, but hopefully it pays off this evening. Come on, carp.
The final evening update for you then. So just to have a recap on what I've done with my rods. My right hand rod is to the right of the island to our left hand side. The middle rod is to the left of that same island, and then the left hand rod is over to the far side on a washing line method, and it is fairly shallow water, but they were definitely up there this morning, and so fingers crossed that's sort of my banker rod for tomorrow morning as the sun starts to come up. But fingers crossed between now and then me or Shaun gets herself one of these lovely creatures that lives in here, and yeah, we'll be seeing you in the hours of darkness with a lovely carp. Good morning then. Unfortunately nothing to report from last night. Now, we didn't give up our efforts going into the hours of darkness. The owner come round, we had a really nice chat with him, lovely bloke that he is, and yeah, I decided to reposition one of my rods into some slightly deeper water behind us just to try and cover sort of all bases really, but nothing happened, mate.
It didn't. No, it really didn't. We thought that might be the one, but yeah, sadly, it's not happened. So the plan of attack is, I think we just need to walk around. Like, location is key. So we're going to have a little walk around, see if we can find anywhere where there's fish feeding, see if there's any opportunities, and obviously reposition rods if we need to, and just keep at it, really. So fingers crossed, we can actually make something happen, mate, and put a fish on the bank. But you know what? It's a wicked place. We've enjoyed it, and we just got to keep going and hope it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had a good walk around then, and unfortunately we have found absolutely nothing. It is a complete contrast in conditions to yesterday. Yesterday was lovely and sunny and warm. We were in t-shirts, and you know what, it's quite easy to find the fish. Although they were tricky and they weren't really having it, they were definitely sort of visible and able to sort of locate. But today, completely different. Can't really see a single thing. We've seen the odd fish show towards the end of the island, but Hugh's already got a rod position there, so obviously we don't want to move that. So at the moment, there's not a lot for us to really go on. So I think we're going to have to sit on our hands and just hope some fish move in onto the areas we've obviously put a little bit of bait. But one thing we did want to show you is the fishery itself. Now this is an absolute lovely place, and it would be a great exclusive booking for one of you guys watching this. So what we want to do is show you what's on offer here. Now we're on the specimen lake, but there's actually 3 lakes on site. There's another 2 with a slightly higher stocking of fish, and you know, you could come up here, book the whole fishery, or just book one of the lakes and have a lovely little exclusive getaway for yourselves. So we're going to send the drone up, we're going to fly it down through the fishery and show you exactly what is on offer.
Right then, well hopefully you enjoyed that drone footage, and would you believe it, as we were flying it along the edge of one of the islands just trying to get some different shots, Shaun has spotted a couple of fish. Now I've had rods either side of it, but those fish just seem to be holding up right in the middle of that island, so I've decided to crank in the right hand rod, flick it towards where those fish is. Now I've got to be honest with you, because we keep it real on this channel, I fluffed the first cast, just catching one of the reeds on the island, so had to redo the rod, and Shaun did see a fish sort of flank and spook off as I did that. So hopefully I haven't blown those chances for us. But yeah, there's some fish there and we've got a rod on them, and I'm feeling excited and buzzing again. So fingers crossed it's going to go rattling off shortly. Unfortunately, I've had the phone call that no angler wants. My little one's school has just rang me to let me know she needs picking up. So I've hastily packed down everything else, got the last remaining rod. Unfortunately, where I cast to those showing fish, it pains me to reel it in, but I'm going to leave you in Shaun's trusty hands to talk through the lakes, but also probably drop a rod where I was fishing and probably catch one, knowing my luck. So let's crank the rod in. Lovely and clean.
Oh. I have moved a rod. Yes, I've got one in there fishing out to the island. You probably saw it coming as Hugh went. It would be silly for me not to concentrate on this section here where we've obviously seen the fish with the help of the drone. Now, just a little talk on the drone. We've obviously been given special permission to use it. The average guy coming here on a day ticket can't send a drone up. The owners have okayed it. Obviously, GoCatch have okayed it. So yeah, we've obviously used it for the purpose of filming. You know, we're just trying to capture a perspective from the aerial, you know, from an aerial view. It looks really really cool. It gives you an idea of the lay of the land. It shows it from a different perspective, and that's all we're doing really. It's just trying to show you as much as possible here, so that if you do want to come here, you know kind of what to see and what to expect before you get here. And also from a sort of average angler's perspective, you know, we're sort of everyday anglers that have jobs. You know, we come out as and when we can, and we think it's a nice way to see it. You know, we try and film it as and when it is. We show you the blanks and everything, and, you know, try and keep it raw, and that's exactly what we've done. So hopefully it's given you a good idea of what to expect if you were to come here. So yeah, it's just a matter of time now. I think I'm going to just leave the rods, and hopefully one of them goes rattling off. You're probably wondering, why am I on the move? Well, it didn't seem to be happening on a specimen lake, and there's 2 other lakes on the complex, and I thought I might as well show them. That's kind of the whole point of this video. So this lake behind me is Mallard. Now this is about 3/4 of an acre, so it is smaller than the specimen lake, and it's got about 40 to 50 carp in it. So about the same kind of number of carp, but it's a smaller venue, which means you're going to be a little bit closer to a fish. Now it's again a lovely lake, brilliant place for a social. You've got a fire pit on this lake, and you've got a couple of swims on either side quite close together, so you're not too far away from your mates if you want to have that social element. But again, you can book it on a day-ticket basis. The lake is split up essentially into 4 sections, so you're not really going to have anyone interfere with your fishing, and it is a lovely little lake which is possibly going to give you a better chance of a bite than the actual main lake. There is another lake on here though, so let's head down to that other lake and I'll show you that one. Well, I'm down on the 3rd lake then, and this is actually the first lake you come to. You might be able to see the blue wagon over there. That's my blue van in the car park. So it's quite a short walk to this lake, so good access on this one. And on this one, you've got actually just 2 swims. So you've got a swim there, and you've got a swim over there. And the idea of this place is it's great for beginners. It's great for people that just want to get a bite. And if you want to fish on like the float or feeder, it's got a good mixed bag in here. So there's some carp. I think they go close to £20, but there's not many of them. And there's a lot of smaller ones, and there's some tench. They go up to £8 as well, the tench. And obviously there's a good mixed bag of fish in here. So if you want to come somewhere and have some kind of exclusive fishing, it's about 1/4 of an acre, this one. So it is small, but it's only 2 anglers that fish it. So you could come along with your family, or you could fish with a mate and have a social. You know, when the weather's warm and the fish are hungry, I think you're going to catch plenty of fish, have loads of bites. It's probably a nice way to spend a day. So yeah, cracking little venue this one. This one is Moorhen, and this is the last one, or the first one you come to on the complex. So yeah, that's the 3 lakes. You've got this one, Moorhen, you've got Mallard in the middle, and then you've got the Spessy Lake, Kingfisher at the top. So cracking set of lakes, lovely venue, and I've really enjoyed my time on here, to be honest. So yeah, you probably should have a look at the Go Catch app and get yourself booked in. Unfortunately, it is a blank, but it's fishing. It's definitely tricky at the moment. I've had a few blanks and it's been quite hard on a few places. To be honest, this venue is definitely not a runs water. It is tricky, and it's been designed that way to make it challenging and more interesting. Unfortunately, the mission of catching at least one of the residents has been a fail, but we've really enjoyed the time down here, and I will definitely be back for another go. Hopefully you've enjoyed the session. If you have, give the video a thumbs up. Smash the subscribe button here if you're new to the channel, and click on that video down on the bottom if you want to watch us catch a fish. Until next time, get on the bank, be lucky. I'll see you next Tuesday at 6:30.